Good morning, friends, wherever you are. And I hope wherever that is, you're having a cup of your favorite beverage. Oh, yeah. Happy Saturday, everybody. And welcome to Cichlids and Coffee. A whole lot more than Cichlids, but we're keeping the name. Like a little more behind me here. All right. How are y'all doing? Hope you're doing great. And I know some of you are going to be on your way to watching some college football. I've been, of course, following the baseball playoffs. Go Phillies! I was never a Phillies fan until my son started working with the team, and since my Dodgers got knocked out pretty early, now I'm a Phillies fan. So, for those of you in Europe, the Phillies are a baseball team in Philadelphia. So, a lot to talk about today. Looks like somebody already hit me with a super chat. What's going on here? Hey, Saline Aquatics comes in with a super chat. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. And not sure if you got my message about how close I was to picking up some tiger barbs for that 20 tall, but at the last minute, I broke down and went live bear. Even though I think that little tank full of tiger barbs would have been cute. You might be wondering where I got those fish. Yes, I broke down. I went to PetSmart, and this is a different PetSmart than anyone I've been to. It's about 30 miles away. I was actually going to get my back worked on. I tweaked it, moving that 20-gallon, and I ended up being like 3 or 4 days on ice and taking ibuprofen, and I'm still a little bit sore. If I end off early, it's going to be because my back is hurting. But I picked up, it was picking up that 20-gallon. I'll tell you that the folks over at Glass Cages, they don't make tanks like most people. I can pick up a 75, and a 29 is nothing. It's nothing to pick up a 29. This 20 tall was actually a bit of a backbreaker. I don't know how much it weighs. Probably weighs probably as much or more than a 75-gallon Aquarium tank. It's just the thickness of the glass, the reinforcement at the bottom that they use, the bracing at the bottom. It just adds a tremendous amount of weight. And my back didn't like it. It started screaming. So at any rate, here I am. And it did cross my mind at one point, well, maybe I should skip this Saturday. Not sit for an hour, but it feels good enough in this. This is a very comfortable chair that I brought with me from my office in California. And when I was there working and sitting all day. So it's pretty ergonomic, so it's pretty comfortable. So we'll see how that goes. So, yeah, I was really surprised at the quality of the live bears. And because it was a brand new tank, I wasn't worried about quarantine or anything that might come with them. The overall quality of the fish at this PetSmart was actually pretty decent. I've already had fry. One of the fish came over, obviously, carrying fry. There's little fry running around the tank now, and very, very cute. They're all doing very, very well. So I'm very happy about that. So I have some questions that I picked up from the community page on YouTube that I want to share with you folks and answer. And I also want to answer your questions. So if you have some questions, start thinking about them and type them in. I'll try to get to as many of them as I can today. Today is it's a Q&A. It's a question and answer live stream. I don't have any prepared videos for you. No real specific topic apart from maybe the changes that are going on in here that I covered in my fish room update. For those of you that saw that fish room update, Return or Back to My Youth, I think was the subtitle on it. Picking up fish that I haven't owned since 1962. Yes, I am that old. So, so with that in mind, I better hurry up because who knows how much longer. Let's go ahead and start this live stream. If you're new to the channel and you like the content and what we're doing here, be sure to hit that thumbs up, the bell, the subscribe. Let YouTube know something good's going on. We're real close to 50,000. That's going to be kind of cool. So be sure to do that. And big shout out to the channel sponsor. Now, James Largo over at the Cichlid Shack just went through some medical procedures, some dental work. The man is in great discomfort. He's going to be great in a month, but he's really suffering right now. So brighten up his day, order up some fish food, order up some supplies, and get 10% off with Shack Attack 10. Or if you order fish and it's over $100, Shack Attack 15 for 15% off. Discounts don't apply to shipping. Thank you to the Shack for being a sponsor of the channel. And let's see what else. Big shout out to the members that are Patreons. These are what are called the founding Patreon members. Thank you to all of you for your ongoing monthly support. Starts for as little as $3 a month. And they are the official Garage Gang. Well, you're all the Garage Gang, really. But, hey, how's the AV? Tell me about the AV. Audio visual. How does it look? How does it sound? Give me a quick note on that. That would be appreciated. And for those of you who'd like to pick up some swag, go over to my Spring store. It'll come up as Spring or Teespring. And use live stream, all one word. Use live stream for 10% off at the Spring store. And you can pick up t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, all kinds of good stuff. And the last commercial, if you use Amazon, visit my Amazon store by accessing Amazon using this address. Now, once you're on Amazon, you can leave my store and shop on Amazon, and it gives a credit to the channel. So if you want to support the channel and you don't want anything from my store, that's okay. Use the link to get to Amazon, and the channel gets credit. Very, very cool way to support the channel, and all it means is getting onto Amazon that way. So that's it. We're commercial free, unless the moderators jump in. Let's see who's on board here. Cat Sailor had to leave, making meals for the homeless. Love that, Cat Sailor. I know you're probably gone already, but you are truly a good person. Let's see. Fishman Marcus in the house. Gabriel's Glass Boxes. Love that name. Good name. Glass Boxes. Michael Lotanero. Hello, Michael. Good morning to you as well. And Chris G in the house. Peas and Haps in the house. Hey, Denny. Hello to you too, my friend. And Mountaintop Puffer Keeper. Love that name. And hey, Mountaintop Puffer Keeper, can you send me an email? I want to get a little information from you about puffers. I have an opportunity to pick up possibly a puffer, but I do want to get some information about what kind of community I can keep them in, feeding information, things of that nature. Maybe you and I should actually hook up at ben.o.cichlid@gmail.com. And if that's okay with you, send me an email and let's connect. Cichlid King's in the house. And hey, Salient. Neil. Hey, Neil. Glad you made it. I'm just skimming through the chat here. Hey, Jerry. This is the day. Fish move into the 180. All right. Hey, Jerry, I'm going to give you a pro tip, and it's going to sound a little gross. But take the media, the sponge media from the other tanks, the tanks that you may have had them in, and squeeze it into the 180. Sounds gross, and yes, it's going to create a little bit of fogginess for a minute, but it'll clear up. and you'll have transferred a lot of beneficial bacteria. Also, if you want to take some of the hard media like rings, things of that nature, right? You can put those into a mesh bag and throw them in the filter or throw them into the back corner of the tank and just let it all sit there for about a month or two. It just helps. It just helps. You're probably going to be throwing a little bit of Fritz Zyme 7 in there. Certainly hitting it with some conditioner in case any ammonia spikes. I get it, but you probably have it under control, and I'm probably preaching to the choir. So, but anyway, just a tip. Just a tip. And let's see here. Is that another? Or is that the same super chat? Robert Egan. Robert Egan. Shout out for the Astros. Looking for trouble. Astros. Good team. Good team. What can I say? We got some good stuff coming up. But this channel is not about baseball, even though I'm wearing a baseball shirt. I really try and keep it about fish. I really do. Sometimes I wander, and I apologize. But I really want to keep it on fish. All right, let's see what else is going on here. I said hi to Neil. And rum and ginger, Neil? Rum and ginger. That could be good. Kind of like a Moscow Mule kind of a thing. Rum and ginger. I like it. What the Moscow Mule is vodka and ginger ale. So, Ken Johnson, hey, hi to you. Hi to you, Ken. Thank you for being here. And Clarity's in the house. Love that name, Clarity Aqua. R. Baglio, good morning. Let me see, peas and haps. Let's see. I'm looking forward to some videos about that 180, Jerry, with some fish in it. Going to be exciting. All right, let's see here. I'm just cruising the chat. Michael H. Hey, man, just moved to a new house and was forced to put my 125 and 55 in my garage. We live in Utah. How do you regulate your temperature in your garage? Well, the first thing I did is I insulated my garage door. I had to go buy insulation material from Home Depot, and it's just big sheets of styrofoam. So basically, the front of the garage is like a part of a big styrofoam tub or styrofoam cup. It's about this thick, right? It's very thick styrofoam. You have to cut it, place it in there, and then I used white duct tape to connect the pieces, and I think it's doing a good job. I also circulate a fan because I have a door. Is yours a connected or a separated garage? That's what would speak to what I'm about to say. This garage is connected to the house, so I leave the door open, and I have a fan up there that's pumping in air from the house. So if the house is heating, because it's cold, I'm getting hot air, right? Warm air. If it's colder, because I'm running the air conditioners, I get cool air. So it's the door connection and a fan, and that's how I regulate it. At some point, I do want to get a split unit, so this can be completely independent. That way I can close that door and not have it always open, right? Because this is a garage, and it'd be nice to be in the kitchen and not have to, not be looking into the garage. But at any rate, sounds great. AV, good. Thank you, Chris G. Thank you, Peas and Haps Forever. Country Strong and Free, 59 plus 20. Is that your age? 59 plus 20? Awesome, man. 79. That's very, very cool. All right. All right. Have I said hi to every Country Strong and Free? I said hi, and let me see. AJK Aquaria, Joe Provenzano, love that name, in the house. Exotic Plecos 13, good morning. And I think I got everybody. Gabriel's Glass Boxes. All right. So let's jump into a few of these questions. And Peas and Haps Forever. Ben, I picked up a Malawi gar last Sunday, one of my favorite fish. Goofy looking as all get out with those big old snout. They're designed to get between rocks and eat fry. Their favorite snack is mabuna fry. And if you have some rocks close together in your tank and you drop a little food between them, they go on their side and they wedge in with those long lips. And it's really funny. Very cool fish. And he is doing good, but I don't think he's eating. Any tips on getting him to eat? I have a video on finicky fish, and what has worked for me is it omega or cobalt? One of them has a Cichlid Delight. Cichlid Delight. Boy, I dropped that in, and they can't resist it. I had back in California, I had an eye biter that wouldn't eat. Man, he would just go insane on Cichlid Delight. Now, the key ingredient in there, I think, is garlic. You can also take the food that you're using and soak it a little bit in garlic guard. Pellets are best, I think, for that kind of thing. Don't soak them too long. Otherwise, when you put them in, they just turn to mush. Just give them a quick 10, 15 second soak in garlic guard. Drop them in and see if that works. Frozen krill, another thing that works. Now, how's the belly look? If the belly looks a little sunken, he might be starving. Parasites could be an issue, but if he's looking really good, active, it might be a very young case of parasites. If he doesn't respond to those irresistible foods, then I would put him into a quarantine tank and hit him with some Paracleanse or what's that other one that Corey came up with? Corey mentioned a med. I think it starts with a P. Much cheaper, much less expensive than Paracleanse. But yeah, I'd hit him with some meds. If he doesn't respond to the other foods. Now, one thing I have noticed, sometimes a fish can feel a little bit intimidated during feeding, and they hang back. And by the time they get the courage to jump in, the food's almost all gone. So you've got to watch that too, and maybe drop a bunch of food to one side, let all the dominant fish go there, and then maybe sprinkle something on the other side so that your gar might have a chance, and you really spread it out, right? So that might be something also. Country strong and free. Good morning, sir. My woods staying clean. Back to the wood jokes. Plecos are awesome. Plecos are workhorses. When they get older, they get a little bit lazy. I've noticed the younger plecos are they're usually a little bit more active. And bushy nose, man, bushy nose are workers. You get some bushy nose plecos, they will really work hard for you. Michael H. Hi, Ben. Not sure where you live, but how do you regulate temperature? Okay, we got that one already. In the hot months, again, it's like using the fan. If you have something real severe in your area, you can also, I have seen people do this, and I used to do it in California because I had an outside tank. I had a tank that was next to a garage under an overhang, but it was outside, and it had young cichlids in it. And the temperature would get to 110, 109, sometimes 105 in Arcadia, California. And that tank would get up, way up, like 90, 92, 95. So I would drop a bottle of frozen, just a water bottle that was frozen. I would just drop it in the tank, and like a giant ice cube, and desperate times. ZoomEd has a product. ZoomEd has a product. It's a fan that you can attach to the edge of your aquarium. And I found that works too. It'll drop the temperature by 3 or 4 degrees. And it has a little blower, right? And an attachment piece. It just blows air over the aquarium. So the aquarium is releasing the heat, right, of the aquarium. All right, let's see here. Alphonse in the house. I like that. James Manning is here. We're getting some great people jumping on. And to join the great people that are already here, Thomas Medina in the house. Extreme fish food is, I'm loving extreme fish food. Loving that food. Fish go nuts. The community crave drive my community tank fish insane. They just can't. For the pellets, when I would put other types of things like New Life Spectrum in there, they would kind of hang out, and if a pellet happened to go by their face, they'd maybe peck at it, and they were lukewarm. I put some community crave in there, and they go nuts. The tetras turn into a piranha, and they're banging against the surface, and it turns into a feeding frenzy. So that tells me a lot. All right, let's see. Yunki Moreno. I love that name, Yunki. Hi, Ben. Been having trouble with hard water stain in front of the glass. Well, hard water stain, a couple ways you can go. You can soften it with a little bit of vinegar. A little bit of vinegar on a rag and just rub it on there. Let it sit for a little bit. And then maybe with a razor blade, you can take it off. That doesn't work. Some people use that Barkeeper's helper. Sometimes that's good, and it doesn't scratch the glass. There are products that you just want to make sure you get a non-abrasive cleaner, but usually a little bit of vinegar on there. I wouldn't let the vinegar get in the tank necessarily, but a little bit of vinegar on the outside. Let it sit for maybe a few minutes, and then you should be able to either wipe it or with a razor blade lightly scrape it off. And then after that, then use the Barkeeper, and you should have a nice clean tank. So try that. See if that works. Let me know. I'm screening the chat here. James Manning, where's the science to look for? Okay, you guys are having a talk with Salient. I don't want to interrupt your conversation. Fungus has disappeared, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm going to pull out a couple questions here from, oh my goodness, are we getting some of these? Hey, Master Aquatics in the house. A great name. And let's see here. I'm screening down the chat. You know, it's funny. You start to get, as your channel grows, you become a target for some of these porn sites and some of these illicit activities. And fortunately, the moderators are on top of it. So, crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right. So, at the Facebook community page, DNA Outpost. That's the name of this person. They call themselves DNA and then space Outpost. I'm struggling with, looks like cyanobacteria. Now, this is that blue-green algae, which I think technically is not an actual algae. Has a blue-green color. The dreaded blue-green algae. I've upped water changes, added air stones, manually remove every other day, and it won't let up. It's starting to affect my plants. Any advice or tips would be great. So folks, jump in. What do you think would be a good solution for the blue-green algae? I think my first line of attack for me would be phosphates. Check out phosphates. The water changes should be reducing the nitrates. So I would say that the phosphates, and maybe there's some phosphates coming in from the tap. Maybe you're using Decor. Some substrates release phosphates. Check your foods. Make sure that the foods that you're using are low in phosphates. One of the big plus points for foods like Sarah is, and maybe the one of the moderators can share that the Sarah interview video. I think it's called, is this food legit? Is this legit? I forget the name of the video, the Sarah interview. And maybe it's under the Masterclass series. But when I did an interview with the Sarah folks, they were really big on keeping the phosphates low in the food to prevent this kind of thing. So if you have a way of testing phosphates, test for phosphates, check your tap, and could be something like that. You can pick up some phosphate pads. It's not going to hurt. Are they going to clear it up entirely? Probably not, but they will clear up some of it. Get some phosphate pads from the Aquarium Co-op. phosphate pads. That could help. So that's for DNA Outpost. Mountaintop Puffer Keeper, who is here in the chat. How often do you reset or significantly change tanks and species to keep your enjoyment up? I went ahead and moved on from 2 species and replaced them with 2 new ones last week. I tend to adjust something with the tanks or species around once per year, to keep it fun for me. Well, hey, Vibes Aquatics and GP in the house. Nice. So if you've been following me, you know that I'm going through something like that right now, and I have diversified. Now, because I'm in a garage with a lot of room, I can diversify with a whole new tank with a new species. So I have a certain flexibility that maybe somebody with limited space wouldn't have. But I mean, I was strictly African cichlids for, I'd have to look over my videos, but I think I was strictly African cichlids for 4 or 5 years. And there's still a lot to learn. There's still a lot of fish I haven't had before. There's other lakes, right? There's Lake Victoria, there's shell dwellers, there's other stuff, right? There's other stuff that I could be getting into in the East and Central Africa range in fish keeping. But I've gone ahead and gotten into bettas. I've gotten into live bears just a few days ago. And according to a conversation I had with James Largo, I might be getting into puffers. I might be getting into a pistos. I'm going to be getting some more geos. Discus are still on the table. And so I would say everybody is different. And if you can stay engaged with a particular species and you enjoy it, stick to it. If you get bored and it starts to become monotonous for you, switch it up, man. That might be, for one person, that might be 6 months. For another person, it might be a year, 2 years, 4 years. In my case with the African cichlids, 4 years. So I think everybody's going to be different based on their temperament. But I tell you, it has added a lot of different, it's forced me to learn about planted tanks, the kind of plants that need iron and don't need iron, plants that you can float. It's just forced me to keep learning. And I tell you, when you start to get older, it's easy to just fall into your comfortable patterns. And if you don't shake things up, you start to move in the wrong direction real quick. So, and I don't think it's just for people that are older. I think young people always be learning, always be scrambling up your brain a little bit and getting outside of your comfort zone. I think it's healthy. I think it creates a little bit of blood circulation in your brain to parts that were not getting blood before. All right. Rocky and Miles. If you treat a tank with meds, paraclens, in parentheses, but still lose the fish, possible wasting disease, what process do you take to make it safe for new fish? Well, man, oh man, maybe you folks can chime in on that. Some people will tear the whole tank down. Some people will add something really strong, right? Hydrogen peroxide, ammonia, something really strong that'll kill everything, and then gradually bring it back. Some people start over. They remove all the decor, all the substrate. For me, I would go ahead and do a 90% water change, and I would run some activated charcoal for about a month, and then do an ammonia cycle, because the ammonia should take care of it, and then start adding fish very gradually, and see how they do. I mean, that would be my my suggestion. But that's rough. I mean, it sounds like you lost everything thinking it was a parasite when in fact it might have been wasting disease. But yeah, nearly drain it. Really do a deep vacuum. Take out the plants, and if they're artificial plants, give them a chlorine 24-hour soak in a 5-gallon bucket with a couple tablespoons of chlorine or bleach rather. Same thing probably. So let's see here. I'm not going to respond to questions that I don't feel comfortable. And some of you asked some pretty detailed questions. I'm sorry, I'm not going to take them up. I just don't know. I'm just not sure about them. Aussie Aquatic. Big fish live for longer and small fish live much shorter. Which is better as a fish keeper? Well, if you're real old, you don't want fish that are going to live a long time. You don't want a fish that's going to outlive you, right? That shouldn't matter, really. Everybody's different. I mean, you pick up a frontosa, it's going to live 20 to 30 years. That becomes like a family member after a while, right? I mean, it just depends. I mean, we get back to that question that was asked earlier about mixing things up. I mean, do you think you're going to get bored? If you think you're going to get bored, get fish that just, even when you're taking optimum care of them, just on circle of life, they're going to expire on you, and you're going to be forced to get into new fish. That might be a better route for somebody who easily becomes bored with fish. So that's a good. I mean, what do you folks think? Long-lived fish, or fish that don't live as long? I mean, there are some fish that don't live as long that are beautiful. I mean, I think betta don't live that long, right? They have a relatively short lifespan. So, but they're beautiful. People get very attached to them. They name them. They become, water puppies. They become buddies. So, Pigus, Pigus, Pigus. Now, I think this might have been a joke question. Can I keep discus in a 10-gallon? You can, but only if you keep them with an Oscar and a red-tailed catfish. My goodness. George Williams, by the way, that last comment was not serious. Please don't go do that. My legal team has informed me that I must issue a disclaimer when I say something very stupid. George Williams, how do you get rid of baby cichlids when your local chain pet stores won't buy them and your local private stores will only give you store credit at an unreasonable rate? I would say Craigslist. Offer them for free on Craigslist. That'd be my number one. Number two, get yourself some inexpensive used tanks and grow them out. Who knows? You might have a beautiful fish. I had a fish back in California that I grew out that turned into he was obviously a hybrid, but my goodness, he was gorgeous. Gorgeous fish. I hope I don't offend anybody, but the other thing is you just let nature take its course. I mean, the other fish will take care of the problem for you and pick those fish off. The ones that make it, it's sort of like, it's like Gladiator. The ones that make it, they deserve to live, right? So let them live. But if you just leave them in the tank, the problem will take care of itself. Now, if you don't have a heart for that, I understand. And in that case, you should get a 20 or a 40-gallon breeder or a 20-gallon long, and move a little filter media from your bigger tank, start up that new tank, and just grow them out. Grow them out and give them away on Craigslist. After they're over an inch or two, give them away on Craigslist. That would be my first pick. All right, let's see here. Now I'm open to your questions. I took up the questions from the community that I wanted to take up. Let's see here. Vibes Aquatics, 91 watching, only 34 likes. Come on, Fish Fam. Thank you, Vibes. Keep pounding them. Oh, let me see. Kent AJDK. Hello, Ben, to you. Hello to you, too, as well. All right, some more folks have jumped on. That's good. That's good. I'm kind of excited about hitting that 50,000 subs. Man, oh, man. Hey, Trent. Trent W in the house. Love, love, love puffers. My local pet has a local, I guess what local pet store has a big, beautiful freshwater puffer. This is a smaller, I'm talking to James about a smaller puffer, and he wants me to go ahead and study up on him and then send him out to me. Apparently he can live in a community. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Kind of exciting. They are cute. Really, really cute fish. And a true water puppy. Somebody just hit me with a super chat. Let's see what we got here. Vibes Aquatics for some more coffee. Thank you, my friend. Also toast for Vibes Aquatics. And let's see here. I am cruising the chat. Susanna SC. Susanna, are you in South Carolina? Or are you are you a USC grad? Oh, Fish Mom. You changed your name? You used to be Fish Mom? How you doing, Susanna? Good to have you back. M&C Aquatics in the house. Let's see here. Peas and haps forever. I find I get more satisfaction when a fish lives for a long period of time. Makes me feel like I'm doing my job very well. I get it. I get it. I can totally see that. All right. Fishman Marcus. Large fish for me. Central and South American cichlids. Well, you must like today's backdrop then. Come here, friends. They're not quite as bold as the African cichlids. They do come up to the glass, but I mean, if I did this on the African tank, they'd all be like going after my hand right now. Come on out. Oh, here comes the big vieja. There's that Salvini. Female. The female Salvini. They have the red belly, and they're the prettier Salvinis are the female, in my opinion. This is a female Nicaragua. I like the color, and they don't get the big nuchal, the big hump. I like the female Nicaraguas more. Come on up front, Firemouth. Firemouth is back there, but he's afraid to come forward because he always gets into it with the Nicaragua. No lip or fin damage, but they always seem to get into it with each other. There's a chocolate in the back there. Here are the Oscars. I get the Oscars over here. Come on. Come on. Anyway, yeah, they're not as bold, but pretty bold. Here comes that red tiger. And I got the albino red tiger back there. So, all right. All right, I'm back to looking at your questions. Let's see what else you have to say. Dave Rice comes in with a super chat. Thank you, Dave Rice. Appreciate that. Ben doing Mabuna in a new 96. Wow, that's a... Oh, 90, is that 96 liters? Okay, 48. Oh, no, 96 long, 48 wide, 20 high. Well, what a great shape. What a great size. What a cool footprint. The stand is being made. I was going to ask you, you had to have had a custom stand made. What's your suggestion for stocking Mbuna? Well, I love yellow labs. I love them. I love what John over at KG Tropicals did with that black background, black substrate, and a bunch of yellow labs. And if you put enough of them in there, eventually they'll start breeding, and you'll have a ton of them. I love the yellowtail, the blue Mbuna with the yellow tail. I think that's a beautiful Mbuna. I'm not really. I know the Pseudotropheus that I had were really, really aggressive and really territorial. Probably the best tip I ever heard when I was keeping Mbuna, the best tip I heard was to not make your caves and rockwork horizontal, but to create caves that are vertical, so you have a condominium. Now you have such a big footprint on that tank that if you went horizontal, you're going to have plenty probably. But if I would build up I would take a third of the middle of the tank and leave it open. So you just have this open space, right, in the middle third. And then I would build up rockwork from each side, leaving the middle third open. Build up rockwork towards the sides and upper back corners, right? And just build a bunch of condos in there. Maybe use some of the caves from underwater galleries. You can kind of stick them between rocks, and so they have this perfect cave, and then natural rock, and then another little cave, and then natural rock, another little cave, natural rock, and just build it up to the back corners of that wide. Man, it would be stunning, absolutely stunning. And I mean, that would be my recommendation. And on the fish, there are people on here right now that know a lot more about Mbuna. They're so territorial, and once they put on size, they can be very destructive. But I would, if you give them a big enough playing field with enough caves, you should be okay. You should be okay. And I'd go to KG Tropicals, look at that species-only yellow lab tank, see if you like that. You can do it with any species, right? Maybe all blue, maybe all yellowtails. I mean, you could go a lot of different directions with it. If you put a mix of Mbuna in there, especially you start getting into some of the Pseudotropheus and things like that, it's going to get really interesting. And I think I had a Mapanga, and boy, he would clear out the whole tank at feeding time. He wouldn't let anybody into the area where food was being dropped. I had to drop food really quickly in different parts of the tank because he would clear out the whole area and not let anyone else eat. And he was just such a jerk. But anyway, anyone else want to chime in here? What would be good Mbuna for a tank like that? What would you recommend? Chris G, I have a 55-gallon Mbuna tank, and I have several different Mbunas. Love them. Chris, what Mbuna do you have? What Mbunas do you have in your tank? Share those, and let's see. Yeah, Dave, that's going to be an awesome tank. I'd love to see a video. Once you get that tank set up, send me a video, Dave. Send it to ben.o.cichlid@gmail. I'd love to see that set up. And I'll tell you, with this 55 behind me here, that I currently have a couple silver dollars in, I was considering throwing in some rockwork and making that a Mbuna tank. But the truth is that I do need a big tank that I can use from time to time to quarantine or as a hospital tank for some of the bigger fish. So I don't want to have every tank entirely dedicated and used up. I've got to have some open tank space because sometimes I've got to pull a fish out. I've got my Autopharynx tetrastigma has got a little bit of a foggy eye. I'm going to do a massive water change on the 300, and hopefully that'll start to clear up. If it doesn't, I'm going to pull them out. Probably throw him in that 55 and hit him with some antibiotics and see what happens. And he's just a great fish. He's currently up against the wall with his good eye facing out, and he's eating well. He's active. He's got good color. Fins are spread out. But you know, I got to have open tanks for that kind of thing. All right, let's see here. Any more questions? Bring them on. GP talking about the Demasoni born yellow-orange and then turn blue-black. Now, do both the male and female change color? Because I know, like your Oratus, right, which I've had horrible luck with when I kept Oratus, the male gets very dark, right, becomes that dark black purple. They go from that beautiful yellow, sort of taxi yellow with the black stripe, and they go real dark. The males go real black, but the females stay yellow. They stay with that nice pretty yellow. So do both the male and the female change? That'd be interesting. Gabriel's glass boxes. Now, how come I haven't heard about that channel? Gabriel's black boxes. They share the link to that channel. Go ahead and share it. I don't care. I don't hate you, Salient. Oh, boy. Michael Lorinero, Oratus, turns. Yeah, very aggressive fish. Very aggressive. Jerry wants to know what would be the #1 African cichlid to add to his tank. You need a showpiece, a centerpiece fish, and on a 180, 6 feet across, right? I would say consider a trout, a beautiful trout. Now, I think you already have a beautiful trout. That would be maybe my first pick would be a Malawi trout. And then something like a Buccochromis notatania, or a Buccochromis yellow. Those are beautiful fish. And a sand diver. Because when that sand diver gets big, they're beautiful. Just gorgeous fish. So yeah, but I think you already have a showpiece, right? You still have that trout, right? I think what is that trout? 11 inches? I mean, you've got a beast trout, if I remember correctly. I mean, that's going to be your showpiece fish. And then just build around that. Dave Rice, I'm thinking about Solusi, yellowtails, rusties. Love rusties. Love rusties. Kind of a purple brown, beautiful fish. From when I was keeping Mbuna, from my experience, the most docile. So you have to have, I would get like several of them, like 6 of them, so that not any one of them gets really singled out and destroyed. Because the rusties I got were picked on quite a bit by the more aggressive Mbuna. But rusties are beautiful. Probably one of my favorite. M&C Aquatics, I am burnt. I have a 150 that I thought about making a Mbuna tank since I'm burnt out on peas and haps. Wow. Okay. Hey, how long has that been going on, man? How long you been burnt out? Just kind of curious. Did something bring that about? Did you have a die-off due to illness? Did you lose a special fish? Or you're just tired of them? I get it. Switch it up, man. Just sell them, give them away, take them to the local fish store. And there's people out there that'll give them a good home and switch it out. Got to keep it fresh. Got to keep it interesting for you. Nobody else but you. Gabriel's glass boxes. I have a Venusis in with my Jack, Convict, and 3 Corys. Now, Gabriel's glass boxes. This is probably the only channel where you could say that and you're not going to get ganged up on. And, you know, that's one of those situations where it'll work. It'll work until it doesn't work. I mean, you got different water parameters that work there. You've got, I mean, my experience with Corys is eventually they get torn up by Cichlids. Starts with some dorsal fin picking, and this is my experience. Come down one morning and the little guy's upside down, and his eye and his stomach is gone. And I mean, they're just too sweet and a fish for the Venusis when the Venusis starts to really, you know, mature. And so keep an eye on it. Keep a real close eye on it. Bucochroma spectabilis is a wonderful recommendation from Peas and Haps Forever. One of my favorite cichlids currently. And I even did a video dedicated to the Bucochroma spectabilis. Love that fish. James Manning, 8 aquariums with sponges. Sponges are great for seeding new tanks. You're right. Chris G, one thing I love about Mbuna tank is that they're always on the move and interesting to watch them interact with each other. Yes. And when I had Mbuna, I tell you, I love that they were always building. They always had and I used to keep this substrate that was a cichlid specific substrate from Carib Sea, but it was these pieces of shell, and some of the pieces of shell were about this big. And you know, the Mbuna would pick them up and carry them around and like trying to figure out where am I going to drop this, right? And then would drop it and then would go back to the pit they were building. And just something to keep in mind. And some people will use silicone or super glue, but they'll take the decorations and support them with some type of adhesive, because the Mbunas will dig so much that they can actually create a cave-in where things will cave in or fall over. So just keep that in mind when you're building up your Mbuna tank, right? When you're building it up. One thing I love about the caves from underwater galleries. Let me see if I got one right here. Hold on. You can. Check out the tank while I go get this. These are caves from underwater galleries, just to give you an idea. And they come in all sizes, all different sizes. These are two of the bigger examples. Look at the size of this one. They're very light ceramic. If you drop them, they will shatter, so you got to watch out. But they're a ceramic, and they have them in teeny sizes too, little teeny sizes. As a matter of fact, when I was discussing apistos, getting a breeding group of apistos, one of the things that came up was they needed little caves. And I know that Aquarium Co-op sells apisto specific breeding caves, but you can use a very small ceramic cave from underwater galleries. But if you're to build rock and then slip in some of these caves in there, right, and maybe use a little bit of maybe some type of a silicone adhesive, some type of an aquarium safe adhesive, it could be a very interesting tank indeed. So Harry Bowman, they love to dig in the sand. They brought down their Hilton Plaza at one time. Lesson learned. There you go. Exactly. These guys move a lot of stuff around. I had to move some of these. These are real rocks, and they're super heavy, super heavy. And so I had to move them back because I was afraid that they were going to, and I didn't stack any. I was afraid that they were going to, create a situation where the rock would roll forward and bang into the glass. Now, this glass is probably a half-inch glass. This, of course, is from glass cages. So very rugged, but I wouldn't want the glass to have a big mark on it where a boulder hit it after a fish dug it out. So that was this big monster. Didn't crack, didn't break. Don't lean it against something like I just did. All right. So let's see here. Ask me your questions here. We're getting up on the hour. Looks like we have over 100 people on the stream. That's awesome. The apistos, I believe, are considered a dwarf fish, a small fish. Very colorful. Very colorful. And they do get into breeding groups. And they may be considered a dwarf cichlid. If you are certain about that, go ahead and talk about it. Silver Creek Aquatics in the house. Very cool. And he says that the apisto and cribs and microphagus. Okay, so I guess those are you saying that those are considered dwarf cichlids? Gabriel's glass boxes, once we understand the nitrogen cycle, possibilities can become endless within the glass boxes. Very true. Very true. Now, I heard a very interesting viewpoint, and you tell me what you think. Somebody was talking about moving the hobby in the direction of only bred fish. In other words, like fish that have come from breeders, and really starting to cycle down and really start to reduce wild caught. This to reduce the stress on the natural habitats. Now, there's a lot of sides to this question because there are folks out there, especially in some of these economically struggling parts of the world, that rely on the fish trade for their income and the catching of wild fish, things of that nature. But there's also, you can make a case for leaving these lakes and streams alone and just using bred fish. I mean, it's a really interesting discussion, and I think by there's Coral 12, somebody that just came out with a new coral tank at Aquashella, and they were talking about using things that are locally like provided by breeders, so that we stop ravaging lakes, rivers, streams. Really interesting viewpoint, and I'd be kind of curious what you folks feel about that. I mean, if we stopped and not necessarily consider wild caught as something as a massive plus point. I know some fish are very hard to breed in captivity, and we may have to always go with wild caught. So not really sure. But anyway, I thought it was just an interesting topic for discussion. Silver Creek Aquatics, they're dwarf cichlids. Oh, sorry, considered as such as far as I know. I need to add apistos to my small fish collection. There you go. There you go. Thank you for that. Jerry, go get that 180 set up and post that video. And for those of you that don't know, go ahead and check out Jerry's Fish Room on YouTube. He is one of the good guys on YouTube. Let's go ahead and give him some support. All right. If there are no more questions, I'm going to go and put some ice on my lower back and see if Tennessee is playing. Catch a little football. And I really hope that you folks have a great weekend. And I hope to see you this coming Saturday. Not sure what the topic will be. And I've got some real cool stuff coming down the line. Possibly some Apistos. Discus is still on the table for the 90-gallon. And some real cool stuff that's going to be sent over by the Cichlid Shack. We had a long discussion yesterday, and he's got some cool stuff he's sending over. Stay tuned for that. A lot of plants. I want to put a lot of plants into my new community tank right here. I want to fill that up with, I want to fill that tank up with real plants, get the plastic, get the artificial plants out of there, because I do have some fish in there that are plant friendly. Naturally, I'm not going to be able to do that with something like the 90-gallon. Not going to happen. But, or something like this, I'm not going to be able to put real plants in this tank here. These fish would destroy it. But so I'm going to have some plants coming my way. And what else? What else? What else? A whole bunch of stuff. You'll see the unboxing video. It's going to be exciting. Kent AJDK comes in with a last-minute super chat. Thank you, my friend. Your support is appreciated. And for those of you who would like to support the channel more, be sure to give this live stream a thumbs up. And visit, after it posts to YouTube, visit the live stream and give it a thumbs up and comment, and give the live streams a little bit of traction once they upload to YouTube, because it seems like all the action is occurring on the actual live stream, which I understand. But hey, drop by after it posts to YouTube. Thank you to my Patreons. All the information about becoming a Patreon is in the description under the video. Big shout out to them, and another shout out, of course, to the channel supporter, the Cichlid Shack. Give him a little joy. He's recovering from some serious dental surgery. Give him a little joy. Order something from him. He would really appreciate it. Use the discount code. And why did that turn on? And I think with that, we're going to go ahead and end off. But first, let's look one last time at the chat. Salient Aquatics comes in with another super chat. Ben, pothos on top of your tanks? I've thought about that. I've thought about some pothos. I need plants that are unkillable. I mean, let's just be honest. I'm not very good with aquatic plants. I'm learning, but I need like the floating Sprite. I need the wisteria. I need the Amazon swords. I need the, just stuff that you've got to really work at killing to kill it. So let's be honest. Those are the kind of plants I need. So at any rate, thank you for that super chat, my friend. Always appreciated. So with that in mind, have a great weekend, my friends. Go Phillies, and I will see you folks next week. Watch for some upcoming videos, and certainly watch for the unboxing from the Cichlid Shack. I think it's going to come in this coming week. Look for that video, and there you have it. I think we're done with that. All right. So long, my friends. You are the best. You are very appreciated. Thank you so much.